the Indian government is in the process of acquiring around 200 aircraft to cope with the depleting aerial inventories of the Indian Air Force, Defense Secretary Ajay Kumar said. The contract for 83 HAL-manufactured LCA Tejas Mark 1A advanced fighter jets are in the final stages, he said. Apart from these, expression of interest has been floated for another 110 aircraft, based on which request for proposal will be floated, he said. He said that the contract for the LCAs will be signed definitely this year, with the design having been finalized. State-run aerospace behemoth Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL, will be ramping up production of the LCA Mark 1A jets from 8 to 16 per year. China must rethink its hardline stance towards Taiwan, President Tsai Ing-wen said, as she warned the island was already independent and that any invasion would be very costly for Beijing. Tsai won a second term over the weekend with a record 8.2 million votes, an outcome that was seen as a forceful rebuke of China's ongoing campaign to isolate the self-ruled island. China's leadership had made no secret of its desire to see Tsai turfed out because she and her party refused to acknowledge their view that the island is part of a one China. Beijing regards Taiwan as its territory and has vowed to one day seize it, by force if necessary, especially if it declares independence. But in her first interview since re-election, Tsai told that there was no need to formally announce independence because the island already runs itself. Modern Taiwan has been run separately from the mainland for the last 70 years. For decades, it was a dictatorship under Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists following their 1949 defeat to the communists in China's Civil War. But since the 1980s, it has morphed into one of Asia's most progressive democracies. In her interview, which came as Taiwan held annual military drills on the south of the island, Tsai warned Beijing against sending in troops. Invading Taiwan is something that is going to be very costly for China, she said. The United States will continue military exercises with Japan and South Korea as it sees the trilateral alliance vital for the stability in the Pacific challenged by North and China, U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper told reporters. He added that the United States sought to balance constructive engagement with China with the protection of American interests. We continue to counter China's destabilizing behavior in the region, especially in the South and East Chinese Seas, and we remain opposed to unilateral attempts to undermine Japan's administration of the Senkaku Islands, Esper said. The uninhabited archipelago, which China calls the Diaoyu Islands and Japan refers to as the Senkaku Islands, has a strategic importance for its location on shipping routes, fishing grounds, and gas fields. Last June, both China and Japan deployed military vessels to patrol near the islands. Meanwhile, in California, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with his Korean and Japanese counterparts Kang Kyung-hwa and Toshimitsu Motegi. They emphasized the importance of the U.S.-South Korea and U.S.-Japan alliances to security and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the channel and want to support, please support on Patreon or PayPal. The details are given below in the description.